The one that basically was saying like, well, you know, obviously if we're not attracted to them, you know what I mean, like maybe we'll start looking at another wife. And everybody descended upon his cleat. Everybody was like, bro, how are you already? You've not even met her. And he was like, I've not met her yet. And it's like, yeah, we know you've not met her yet. We're telling you that. How are you telling us before you even met her? I might need to go and step to next to someone else's wife. Welcome, one peeps. So, Married at First Sight UK is back. It came back yesterday, and I've just watched it. So I've literally just watched it now because I didn't get a chance to watch it last night. And you know what? Yeah, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things in my mind, right? So the first thing is, right, I think that anybody that goes on this show has got to have a level of eccentricity about them. Do you know what I mean? Because like there is so much courage. There's so much courage that it takes for you to say, right, okay, I am going to take my whole self, however I look, whatever my past has been, like knowing full well that people are going to tune in, yeah. And one of the first things that I'm looking at is I want them look like, right? Like that's one of the first things that I was like, okay, so who we got here, right? Like, then as soon as each one kind of comes in, you're looking at them to like what they're about and stuff, and if you're like me, and again, I don't mean this offensively at all, but because of the nature of what it is, in that you're going to marry a stranger, there's a whole thing about, well, you know, do you look like a regular person that's just on road? You know, like, you know, how attractive is this season gonna be? Because then when they do have the reveal, are they going? And I know that like loads of people will say, yeah, but these shows ain't about the attractiveness. But time and time and time again, yeah, we've seen that where there is not that physical connection, it becomes really difficult for them to kind of garner like a further relationship and stuff. Like I'm not saying it's never grown, and I'm sure for some people it has, but in the majority of cases on this show, yeah, when I ain't feeling it, like it's not coming. So, like one of the first things I'm looking at is, okay, so how do they stay? What do they like? And to be fair, you know, everyone seems like they've got like a level of attraction to them, which, you know, depending on your leaning, I think basically I don't think there's anyone on there that I'm like, oh well, I can't see you getting nobody. Do you know what I mean? But what I think is surprising is the amount of people who are like, have either just been heartbroken and just been on their own for ages, or people that have just never had relationships or not long-standing ones. And it just makes you realise that like there are so many people up and down the UK, like so many people up and down the UK that are in that boat. So I thought that was quite interesting. Of the people that kind of stood out for me in terms of like initial castmates, we've got to talk about my man. I don't even know what his name was. The black dude, with not exactly high top, but he had like the hair, not the tall black guy, like the kind of shorter one, the one that basically was saying like, well, you know, obviously if we're not attracted to them, you know what I mean, like maybe we'll start looking at another wife. And everybody descended upon his cleat. Everybody was like, bro, how are you already? You've not even met her. And he was like, I've not met her yet. And it's like, yeah, we know you've not met her yet. We're telling you that. How are you telling us before you even met her? I might need to go and step to next to someone else's wife. And I know he's like, oh, I'm not saying that's what I'm going to do. I'm just saying that's something that maybe you need to consider because that's what other people have done. But if you are going into this thing with that kind of intention, fam, like my girl said, maybe go and do your single thing outside of the experiment then, because why are you coming up here? I don't understand that. I don't understand that. You're already talking like we are in the throes of the mix-up. Do you know what I mean? But you're talking like you're in the throes of the mix-up and not now mix-up yet. So, okay, alright. But I did like how, well, not like, but as a viewer, I thought it was quite entertaining. You know when someone, when someone is just being so passive aggressive, yeah, like, and they've got that. Can I finish? Yeah. Well, I'll just wait for you to get to the point. Well, you know, you just keep interrupting me. Those kind of things when you've just met someone, I don't care what nobody wants to say. Like, no, she's like, you know, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because I just met him. But you see, from there, mark it down 10. Mark it down 10. You're gonna talk to me like that in front of people, and I've just met you about, yeah. Are you gonna let me finish? Right, and from both perspectives, to be fair, from both perspectives, I think that kind of rubbing up is something, because you don't have anything else to go after. You know what I mean, all I do know is that you're basically talking about being a home wrecker already, and now you want to come and be fresh in front of people. So I thought that was interesting. And it's funny how how your perceptions of people can change, like, because as the show's going on. So Kieran and, is it Kirsty? Christine. I don't know why I keep forgetting this girl's name. I keep calling her Kirsty, or Christine. Christine, Kieran and Christine. So yeah, when Christine was first being introduced and stuff, and they were talking around like the girls, whatever, I was like, you are loud. Now I'm loud as well, right? So I understand. I know my laugh is loud too, but this is like a, when other people are being like, yeah, she's energetic, she's bubbly, she's overexcited. Didn't say that she's a really excited person. She's overexcited, which means to me that you're over the excitement. You're over it. You're done with it. And loud. I heard loud a lot. I heard loud a lot. So I was a bit like, oh, like that. That's the. And I think obviously when you're in an environment like that, yeah, like obviously everyone's trying to get to know each other, and you wanna show your personality, and you are genuinely excited to be there. But I literally was like, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise coming from outside of the couch. But you see, when you actually got to see her, like, her story and stuff, I was like, she's actually a real sweetheart. And actually, all of the couples that were in that first episode, so Emma and Casper, and Kieran and Christine, I actually thought were really sweet. I'm trying to think, was there anyone else that stood out to me? The black lady, what's her name? The black woman who is like 82 but looks about 22. No, she's like 44, is it? Or she's 48. And she looked good. Like, she looked good. She looks good. She looks good. She looks good. Looked good. Really good. Oh, my girl from the black country. Like, hello. Welcome, fam. Hello, fam. That's really cool to kind of just like, even just to hear like a local accent. And I rate the fact that she was like, I'm celibate. I've been celibate for 2 years before as well. And I know some people like, yeah, good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I think, yeah, I rate the fact that she was like, some people don't see that as a value that they need to have. But for me, I think being in a relationship is necessary for me to be all out here fornicating in that. So I'm like, yo, cool, rate that. That's definitely different to what people were saying. Who else stood out? I can't think of anyone else that really kind of stood out to me to be like, What I did notice though is that the show is obviously very diverse, which is cool. You've got your black people in there. You've obviously got your white people in there. I didn't really see too many Asian people though. I don't think any Asian people. You got your lesbians in there. I feel like since they did the gay one, they've not done another gay one since. So I think it was Matt um and Daniel, um and I've not seen like another like gay one since. Even last year's one was he was pansexual, wasn't he, Nathan, and he got put with Ella, who was trans. But I've not really seen like another gay husband set up. Because then you also had the previous to that one. I think they were the first lesbians on the show. Was it Jenna and girl from Tamworth. Anyway, so they're taking some diversity boxes there and stuff. Different ages, different sizes. So that's quite cool. I like the fact that the experts came through balling as well. Like me and Paul, I've got a very simple. Well, I'm sure my jacket is a lot cheaper than his, but like that whole bling bling black sequin with the jacket came through, very nice. And the ladies, both Mel and Charlene. Mel and Charlene, they both look nice as well. So looking at the two sets, so if we take Christine and Kieran first. I rate Kieran. I think he comes across as a really top guy, a really really top guy. He's funny. He seems endearing. He seems really individual. Like, no, is there anything the man hasn't done? He said he's a clown. He went off to the circus. He can play piano. He can play the banjo, the banjole, the accordion, the tin flute, pan flute, something flute. He just seems like a really eclectic person that's all about being like funny. You know, he's got a close relationship with his parent, with his mum. So when he decided he was going to do the whole thing with the teeth, like part of me was like, this could go terribly, because like his friends were saying, like it's not just about her and her humor. Like their family's gonna see you and potentially be like, this guy ain't taking it serious. But I think he actually, well, it paid off because she thought it was hilarious, and I think he's right. Like I want to do something that is, that is him. At the end of the day, do you know what I mean? If someone then was gonna turn around and like, well, I don't rate you because of that, then you already know, well, okay, they're not really for me then, because of course I'm taking it seriously. You don't come on here for months and months and all the frigging auditions and the meetings and the psychoanalysis and all of that stuff. You don't come and do that if you're not serious, unless you're an actual tool bag. So, me doing this joke doesn't invalidate the seriousness of what we're trying to achieve here. So the fact that she found it funny, it was tense though. That was tense. Very, very, very tense. And he took out the teeth them, and she just like, thank the Lord. Oh my God, I don't see no brown. I don't see no brown. So yeah, rate that. So that was really, really good. I also thought his vows were like the fact that he was like, I know I'm not like the 6 foot man that you probably would have dreamed of, and stuff. And I don't know, man. I found myself getting like proper emotional, like just listening to what he was saying and how what the kind of journey he wants to go on with her and stuff, and then her responses to it, and the fact that some of his boys were getting emotional too. I'm like, nah, that's amazing. And I don't really get the thing about the height. Yeah, I don't get the thing about the height because I feel like I mean, no, it's not. I don't get it. Everyone's got a preference, and I do understand that, right, to a degree. I do understand that, but I feel like there's a lot of women out there that talk about height, right? Like, oh, they need to be like, where you going with it? Like, not every woman, obviously, but there's a lot of women out there that talk about height. And yet, like, if a guy was to sit down there and talk about, like, I don't know, say a woman's weight, like as a preference, like I want a size 10, I want a size 8, I don't even know if they do the size 6, whatever the size might be. I don't know whether it would be such a commonly acceptable thing, but I hear women talk about guys' heights all the time. And the thing with the guy's height is that they can't do anything about it. And he's so caught up about his partner being taller than him, and how long her fingers are gonna be, how long her foot's gonna be, and I wonder whether it's because society has made him feel like, as a short guy, like he ain't getting like this woman or that woman or whatever, which is dumb. Look at Tom Holland and Zendaya. Do you know what I mean? Little bitty Spider-Man has got himself like a nice long tall model. What we're talking about here, like, it doesn't matter. Like the height of the man is not the measure of the man. So it was just really like heartwarming or heartbreaking, really, to hear him talking about him not being, the guy that should have dreamed, the 6 foot guy that should have dreamed of. Whereas I don't know whether, I don't know, like if a guy was like, in fact, I'm sure there has definitely been some people on this show. There was a guy. It might have been Married at First Sight Australia though, actually, or New Zealand, and he was like a gym nut and stuff, and he was like, I need my girl to be this size and that size, this size feet, this color eye. Like he was shopping at August. Do you know what I mean, bruv? You're on the wrong show. Like, do you know what I mean? And what is this? As I say, there's nothing wrong with having a preference and stuff, but I'm just wondering whether that preference would be different if it was some like another attribute that women find, usually quite close to their hearts and stuff. But anyway, so I thought that was quite cool that they both match, and I did think at one point, I was like, her energy is actually going to surpass his energy, which I thought was crazy. Oh, another thing as well, yeah. This show and the editing actually gets on my nerves. This is probably one of the reasons why I wasn't gonna watch it, because like they love to long things out, yeah, and make things look like it's gonna be this, but it's just not. Like that whole thing about him telling the mum about where he lives and stuff, and they drag that out to make it look like that she was like, a caravan. When in reality, like she didn't, she wasn't really feeling like that. And then when she told Christine, and she was like, "Oh my God, really?" And made it like she was crying. I was like, "There's no way that she's actually crying when she's just sat down there and said how much I rate him, how much I like him. I like him so much." So for her then to tell her that, oh yeah, by the way, he lives in the caravan, like I don't know, and unless someone turned around to me and said they're living a skip, they're living a skip with the rats, yeah, that would probably be my point in saying, well, do you know what, we got a problem here, because now I'm thinking sanitation, now I'm thinking where am I putting my head, but you know, you living in a caravan, static, mobile, whatever, like it tells me you got a home. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know I don't know whether that's a long term plan for you or whatever, but it tells me you got a home, you own it, it's yours. Like I'm not gonna be shallow enough to be like, oh my god, I hate this. Like I don't know. Just thought the editing of that was just really really pants. And I did love as well how he did that whole song for her as well. I thought that was sick. Again, another like sign of his personality and stuff. Just thought it was really really cool. Would I have been talking about doo doo in a nobody's chest at my wedding? No, no. I don't think my people would really and it's me, my family. Like I don't know whether they would be all pin the doo doo on the chest thing, personally. But I rate the confidence to be humorous. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you know, you're not even gonna know what your barriers are, how far you can go with something until you just do it. And what he's doing as well is just being himself. That's the other thing. Like he's just being himself, unabashed, unashamed, and she is lapping it up as well because she's doing the same thing. So I think their wedding, like, and their union and stuff, like it just seems really cool so far. So I've got high hopes for these two. You know, they had little kisses and that. Yeah, I've got high hopes for them. Now, as for Emma and Casper, so again, Emma's another one who grew on me after I saw more. Because initially, when her VT was coming on, she's like, I think I'm a great catch. Do you know what I mean? I got a great job. I've got amazing friends. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can be sexy. And I was like, well, if you are such a good catch, why are you on the show? But then as she was talking more, and you got to see more of her, because she actually was making me laugh as well. Like there were so many parts in that she actually made me laugh. I'm like, oh, you really are jokes. Like you're funny. But then I think she hit the nail on the head when she was like, but I think I use that to protect herself from ever being vulnerable. And I think a lot of this comes from like, as you said, things just don't work out, rejection, things never getting any further. So she's put these barriers up, and now she's she's hilarious. Also, as well, I'd like to point out whatever wedding dress that had her trying on initially, I was like, that didn't look good. That don't look good. And I know she's in the mirror and she's all like, I'm like, no, I don't like none of that. None of that at all. But then when she actually had the wedding day, I was like, wow, you look awesome. I don't know how I felt about like the you call it a stole? That furry business. I don't know. And they really make them walk far as well, innit? Like when that I guess drone like zoomed out and she's walking down the length and breadth of the castle. I'm like, yo, no wonder you've got the stole because it must have been cold. And she's obviously gone to meet him and stuff. And Casper, he seems really shy. And I know that the twin sister, was saying that, I don't really see him like this quiet or this shy ever. But he seemed really, really, really shy. And even when like they're talking and stuff and how they're conversing, he's coming across well with Emma anyway, not necessarily with everybody else. But as soon as he said that she reminds me of my sister, and then they did the whole, back and forth with Emma laughing, the name Claire, I think, with her snorting, the two. I'm just like, oh wow. And I just think it's really funny as well that the sister's like, I couldn't have picked anybody better. couldn't pick anybody better. I just think she's perfect. She looks great. She sounds great. I just think, well, sorry, no. She's more like, I just think, you know, she's our kind of ilk. You know, she's funny. She's energetic, you could have had a real shitter, and she's the right kind of person, so she is bumming up her because she's like, she reminds me of me. I just think it's hilarious, but obviously that's the complete antithesis of what he's looking for, because for you to be sat down there with the sister-in-law being just like, oh yeah, she's very much like my sister, isn't she? Yeah, my sister drives me mad. In fact, she's the only one and that can actually make me angry. Apart from her, I'm actually quite a calm guy, but you see her, she makes me angry. Yeah. Makes me see red in like 20 minutes. I'm like, fam. Wow, okay. Yeah. And even like when he sat down talking to the sister, I'm like, yo, you guys are on TV? Like, how are you cussing up his sister to be like, I'm not an effing idiot. I'm not even gonna say that to her. I'm just like, wow. Okay, mate. Like, you're at a wedding. Like, maybe calm it down. And again, with the ripping off the clothes thing, and I'm so glad the sister humbled him as well, to be like, well, maybe she don't want to sleep with you either. So let's just, keep that in mind. Like, she's got everything you asked for. She likes the same things. She's interested in the same stuff as you. She is funny. And I did like how she said you could have got somebody who was cold and humorless with you and gave the cold shoulder all day. Do you know what I mean? So I thought that was really good as well. I'm not hopeful about these two. I'm not hopeful. I know that they've got room to grow and stuff, but I feel like once the seed has been planted, it's very, very hard to uproot that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not hopeful for these two at all. I'm gonna call it like I'm not hopeful for these two whatsoever. But like I said, man, it takes a very, very special kind of person. And I think like what I find the most endearing is that there are so many different types of people on the show. And there are people talking about, if this doesn't work, then they're just going to be single for the rest of their lives, or with their 100 cats or whatever. And you just think, gosh, this is that for you to genuinely come on a show like this. Yeah, there has got to be an element of you that's like, I want some exposure, or I want to be in the limelight, or that it is that I'm just genuinely at a loss of how else to find a relationship. But with all the different things that come with this show, like, you can't help but feel that there is a certain level of, like I said at the beginning, a certain level of eccentricity that comes with this, because it's like, well, this is so out there. But in the same vein, they all get my respect, because they are about to have every bit about them picked apart, like, and looked at and spoken about for the next however many weeks, and probably thereafter. So yeah, I rate the fact that they've put themselves in this position. And let's just hope, man, like, that actually there could be, because there have been couples out of this before that are still together now. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm hopeful for them. So let's see. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep abreast of this. I enjoyed that as a kind of slap back into Married at First Sight life. Married at First Sight life. I thought that was really good. So I would love to know what everyone else thought of this though, and what are your kind of thoughts about what's going to happen, about the couples we've seen so far. Is there anyone else that kind of stood out to you that I've not mentioned, that maybe I've forgotten about? Yeah, let me know in the comments below. But yeah, for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next.